Welcome to Math with Mr. Stocks. In this video, we're going to look at making predictions using experimental probability. So what that is taking a probability that is known based on what has happened. So that's taking our experimental probability and then using it to predict what will happen in the future. So here's an example. A store sells 12 cookies. 4 of them were chocolate chip. How many chocolate chip cookies will be sold if they sell 15 more cookies? So we're going to start out this information right here. This is what we know. This is what happened. This is where we're going to get our experimental probability. So we know that it's 4 out of 12. So we got 4 out of 12 cookies. So 4 of them are chocolate chip and there's 12 total. That's the probability. Now, the question is, how many are going to be sold if they sell 15 cookies? So 15 is now what we want to know. Now, this is basically just some sort of proportion or ratio. So what we want to do is there's multiple ways you can solve it. So if you might remember from last year, some people did the ratio tables. So we could put 4 over 12 as our experimental probability that we know, and we're going to go to 15. So how can we get 12 to 15? Well, we could divide that by 4 to give us 3. So I'm going to take the top divided by 4 to get 1. And I'm going to take that times 5, and that'll give me 15. So I take the top times 5, and that will get me 5. So there's my answer. So we expect those 5 of those cookies to be chocolate chip. Or you might remember the cross product, where you take the two numbers across from each other and you multiply them. So you take 4 times 15, and that will give you 60. And then you take 60 divided by 12, because that's the other remaining number here, and that will also get you 5. Or you may, some of you like to do the simplify method, where you take 4/12 and you're like, hey, I can simplify that. And that would give you 1/3. And then we know that 15, well, 1/3 of 15 is 5, and we need 1 up there, so you put it there. So it really doesn't matter how you solve it as long as you get it set up correctly. So to set it up, we want to take the experimental probability and put it on one side, and then put the probability we're trying to find on the other side. Let's go to another example here. A store sells 2 red flowers and 4 other flowers. How many red flowers will the store expect to sell if they sell 18 total flowers? So we're going to use this first sentence here to get our experimental probability. But this one's got a little catch to it. So we want to know how many red flowers there are to all the flowers. But notice it says the store sells 2 red flowers and 4 other flowers. So that means this 2 red flowers is not in the total count of flowers, because the 4 are other types. So what we have to do is we have to put 2 and 4 together to get 6. So now we know our experimental probability is 2 out of 6. 2 red flowers to 6 total flowers. Not 2 to 4, because we got to do all the flowers, and that wouldn't work because this is a total down here. And we set that up the same way over 18. And we use whatever your method. If you do the ratio table, you can just take this times 3 and the top times 3. You simplify it to 1/3 and figure out what you need to do there. But in all that, so I like the times 3 thing. So we're going to take the bottom times 3 and the top times 3. And that will get us 6. So if this trend keeps going for 2 to 6, if we sell 18 total flowers, we're going to get 6 red flowers sold. All right, so this is a couple examples on how to use experimental probability to make predictions.